You've got six figures sitting in the bank, and your business runs fine without you checking in on it every 5 minutes. And if you're honest with yourself, you're bored. That's not a humble brag, that's a problem. And it's one that most business owners never talk about, because from the outside, it looks like you've made it. You tried filling in the gap. More golf, a longer holiday. Maybe you've told yourself that you'll finally get into that hobby that you never had time for. But none of it scratches the itch, because the itch isn't for rest. You've already got that. The itch is for a challenge, for building something again, for getting that feeling that you had back in year one, before it got a bit easy. So you think about starting something new, but then reality hits. You know what that actually costs. Not in theory, you've lived it. 60 to 80-hour weeks, years before it's actually profitable. No customers on day one, no systems, no cash flow, just you, a spreadsheet, and a lot of unpaid invoices. While you wait for that momentum and that traction actually building, you already paid that price to get where you are now. And every fibre of you is saying you don't want to go back there again. Meanwhile, that 100,000 is sitting in a business or a savings account, technically safe, and effectively going nowhere. Interest doesn't come close to keeping pace with what inflation actually takes. It's not doing anything, it's not making you money, it's not solving the boredom problem, it's just sitting there idle. Idle capital next to an idle Tuesday afternoon. Here's where this actually goes if nothing changes. 18 months from now, you're still sat thinking about it. Still scrolling on business for sale listings at 11 o'clock at night, or worse, you start from scratch. And 2 years in, you're back to the exact same grind that you swore you would never fall back into again. Except now you're older, the stakes feel higher, and the freedom that you built in your first business is gone. Either way, that 100k didn't build you anything. It just sat there while the window is now closed. Here's the alternative nobody tells successful business owners about. You don't have to build the next thing from the ground up. You can buy it. Already trading, already profitable, already staffed, already has customers on day one. Same excitement of a new challenge, but none of the 0 to 100 pain that you know all too well. Think about what that actually gives you. You get to use everything you already know about running a business. The operational instinct that you have spent years building on a company that is already working, instead of guessing your way through year one again. You're not starting with zero revenue, you're starting with existing cash flow from week one. You don't need £100,000 to buy a business worth far more than that. With the right deal structure, seller finance, and deferred payments, that capital becomes a deposit, not the whole price tag. It works harder than it ever could have sat in an account. You can be selective. You're not desperate for income like a first-time founder would be. You can walk away from a bad deal, take your time, and only buy something genuinely good. Picture this instead. 12 months from now, you own a second business, profitable from day one, run by a team that already knows how to run it, generating income that isn't dependent on you working a 60 to 80-hour week. You got the challenge you were craving. You got to build again, but you skipped the 2 to 5 year grind it would have taken to get a startup to that same point, because you didn't start from scratch. You started from somebody else's 20 years of graft. That's the trade. That's what acquisition actually buys you. The exciting part. Without repaying tuition that you already paid in your first business. When you start a business from scratch, the thing that you're really short on isn't money. It's time. Time to find customers, time to build systems, time to earn trust in a market. An acquisition compresses all of that into a single transaction. You're not buying a P&L, you're buying years of trading history, an existing customer base, staff who already know the job, and processes that already work. For someone who's already done this start from nothing grind, this is the entire point. You get to skip that. This is the bit most owners get wrong when they first look at acquisition. They assume that they need to buy a business outright in cash. They don't. Deal structuring exists precisely so your capital can go further. Seller finance, deferred payments, earnouts. Structured well, £100,000 can be a deposit that will realistically control a business worth several times that, with the seller often financing the rest. Your capital isn't the ceiling. It's the key that unlocks the door. The single biggest reason that acquisitions succeed or fail isn't the deal structure. It's whether the buyer actually knows how to run a business. And that's the exact thing most first-time acquirers lack, and the exact thing that you already have in spades. You've hired, you've managed cash flow, you've made the hard calls under pressure. That experience is worth more in this game than cash is, and you are walking with both. Stephen, who already ran a plumbing and heating business, was in this exact same position. Money in the bank, less needed day to day, bored and adamant he was not doing another 80-hour-a-week startup. Using seller finance to structure the deal, he acquired another similar business within 8 months. And it was cash flow positive from day one, because it already was before he bought it. If you're sat there with capital that isn't working hard enough, and a business that doesn't need you as much as it used to, acquisition isn't a step down from what you've built. It's the next chapter of it. You've already done the hardest part once. You don't need to do it again from zero. This is exactly what we work through inside the Business Buying Blueprint. How to structure a deal so that your capital goes further. How to find the right business, and how to move beyond bored and sat on cash to owning something that's already working. The link's in the description. Book a call and let's talk about what your 5-year mindset actually looks like from here.